Welcome back to Amerisogyny. I'm your host, Hannah Blue. You're listening to The Rise of Women. Listeners, I'm back. And as you can see, my voice has returned with full force. Today's episode is called The Rise of Women. And there's a good reason for that. Now, we're not traveling today. I'm going to remain in my country, the USA, and have a conversation that I think is long overdue. We are 18 days into January, and it already feels like 2 years. But before I get into detail, let me give a birthday shout out to my little sister. Happy birthday, Sheila. I love you, girl. My beautiful sister models for me, you guys, and she's a beautiful soul. So I just wanted to take the time to wish you a happy birthday, and I hope you enjoy your day. Now, listeners, this episode is for the ladies, and I'm only talking to the strong ones. Let me get the goofy ones out of the way. Real talk. If you're laying up with a man who didn't vote or who voted against your interests, this isn't the podcast for you. I have no patience for ignorance, and you will be the group that will be left behind with some of the men for the next 4 years. In 2024, I listed my top ways to have a good year. It's 2025, and I'm giving ways to make the next 4 years yours. I'm going to do it with intellect, tact, and class. Because that's exactly what just left the White House. The last shred of human decency we had left in politics. That's right. If you haven't guessed it by now, this is a liberal podcast. So let's get into it. The top ways you can make the next 4 years yours, ladies. I'm going to do this by letter, not number. Letter A, ostracize any man who hates women. Now, in these times, we call it canceling. We should take a page from the women in South Korea. Stop laying up with these men, giving them your, I don't like the P word. Men made that word. I call it pudding. Everybody loves pudding. Banana pudding, Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, stop giving them your pudding. That's sex for the ones who don't get it. Stop giving them your time and attention because you know what? They don't deserve it. The Scarlet Letter is a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne where a woman was ostracized by the Puritans because she didn't play by the rules. It was even made into a movie with Demi Moore and Gary Oldman. And let me tell you, Mr. Oldman was very fine in his prime. That's what we need to do now, ladies. We need to put a big scarlet letter on every man who does not have our best interests at heart. I can think of 4 right now. Snoop, Nelly, Rick Ross, and Soulja Boy. I've never listened to anything Rick Ross and Soulja Boy has put out and never will. Nelly, I don't think there's anything to cancel because what has he come out with in the last, 5 years? Yeah. As far as Snoop, now I've rolled with him ever since What's My Name dropped. But what's his name now? Coon. That's right. I say that word on this podcast. Coon. He went from a dog to a coon because anybody who can perform at an inauguration for a man who would not hesitate to put all 4 of them in chains if he could and bring back slavery is the epitome of what I call a broken houseboy. I want to say something else, but you get the picture. How does that relate to women? There are men who were adamant they would not support Kamala Harris for president. And I'm looking at 4 of them. Imagine hating a woman so badly, you would vote for a literal racist, a misogynistic rapist, someone who took an ad out in the paper and demonized the Central Park Five, young men who were innocent of a crime. Do you think Trump cared? No, he only saw that they were black. Okay? Snoop, Nelly, Rick Ross, and Soulja Boy, how broke do you have to be? Broke in your mind, broke in your spirit, broke in your money. There is nothing I respect less than people who would turn their backs on their own people. And make no mistake, when you turn your back on the people, you deserve to have the people turn their backs on you. Send them right into that deep hole Chrisette Michele never climbed her ass out of. There's a lot of coons around us. Sitting up in your home, on your job, you need to be getting rid of them one by one because they sent you a message. They don't care about you. They don't care whether you live or die. You are property. Nothing more than a bra and some panties. I can't see how any strong woman would tolerate a man like that sitting up in her face. So Ashanti had a baby by a coon. Maybe she's one herself and broke. I know there's somebody listening right now because, whenever we tell some of you to stay out of our spaces, you're right in it. Somebody right now is clutching their pearls. Oh my God, she's spreading division. You can step off of my podcast. Stat. I'm not spreading anything. I'm drawing a line. And that line is called intolerance of the bull. Get rid of any man who hates you, who doesn't protect you. They shouldn't be your boyfriends. They shouldn't be your husbands. I don't care if they're your daddies, your brothers, your uncles. I don't care. Cut them off. Moving on to letter B. Unite with other like-minded women. There's a reason I'm telling you this. This is no time for jealousy, envy, backbiting. Any woman like that does not further our cause. Leave them behind. Connect with women who uplift you, support you, and think just like you. Let me tell you something. Some of these men have already united. They knew exactly who they were going to vote for, and they sent a very loud and clear message. Women are nothing. We need to understand that if any change is going to happen in this country, it's going to have to come from women. No woman should be dependent on a man for anything. Now, if you're in that situation where you are dependent on a man, unfortunately, and there's nothing you can do about it, I'm not talking about you. I've been there. Life happens. But for the women who have options and choices, time to go and time to leave them behind. And that leads me to letter C. Women, find ways to pool your resources so that you're not dependent on men, specifically these social sites, Meta, Instagram, Amazon, sites ran by billionaires. Now, for the authors, we're kind of in a clutch right now because we need social media to sell our books. But as for Mark Zuckerberg, Zuckkeeper, I call him, and Adam Mosseri, these are males, I can't call them men, these are males who bent over to not only kiss the ring, they got plucked by the ring. Follow what I'm saying? Do you think these billionaires actually care about us? Let me hip you to something. Stephen King is a beloved author, but he sold his books long before social media existed. We need to get back to that. Women are intelligent. Women are competent. Women are capable. We need to come together and brainstorm as to how we're going to X out these social sites and get our books out there to the public, because trust me, there's never going to be a time where people are going to shut their TVs off more than the next 4 years. And what do they need to pick up? Your books. And of course, I have to shout out mine. Platerius Infiltration has been getting rave reviews. I am not in Kindle Unlimited, but you can pick mine up on Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Kobo, and I hate to say it, but Amazon. And that's only because Amazon gives me so many problems. Moving on to letter D, and here's where I'm going to wrap it up. Please be informed of who's running your state. Pay attention to midterm elections. For the liberal women who run this country, you'd better have an excellent white male candidate to represent the Democrats for the next presidential election. And while I'm on that, there's no way in hell he won all 7 swing states. I don't care what anybody says. Elon had a lot to do with that. I really hate how Kamala conceded and how Joe just transferred the power without a fight. Well, now it's time for us to fight, ladies. We have a fight on our hands for the next 4 years, and we're not going to make it unless we join together. If you're not registered to vote, do it. When it's time to vote, get out of the house. It makes me sick to my stomach that people voted for a man who incited an insurrection. People stormed the Capitol and smeared feces inside of it, caused good police officers to kill themselves. These are the people who are against books, who think it's perfectly fine to sleep with children and their cousins. Yeah, I said it. It makes me sick. That is what's coming into power. They even canceled the inauguration being outside, crying about it's too cold. No, that's not it. I think they wanted to hide who all won't be there. And there you have it, folks. My top ways on how to make the next 4 years belong to you. Ladies, I know you're scared, but I'm going to speak to the real Christians because that's another thing that grinds my gears, how Christian is used to describe these people when there's nothing Christian about them. For the real Christians, no matter who walks into that White House, we know who owns tomorrow. We know exactly who we serve. We serve a God that fed the poor, helped the homeless, the widows, and the orphans. He healed people and he fed them. That is a true Christian. And anybody who goes against that is not. And I said what I said. And with that, I'm out of time. If you learned anything in today's episode, feel free to follow me. By now, you know where. Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, and more. People, I'm back. And I'm coming back with more stories. So stay tuned. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Take care of each other. And